guys like Miro and S who are playing 25, 30 minutes a night. I don't know how they do it, to tell you the truth. I think those guys are specimens.
They go to Whole Foods to eat. They don't go to bars to eat like us.
No.
And I'm going to let Luds get started because we all are fans of your game. But this guy over here has been pounding the table for Petro for pretty much the entire time you've been part of the Dallas Stars, including when you were basically an AHL player and then a hired gun for the playoffs. So, Luds?
Yeah, I wasn't happy with that situation, Petro. You should have been here. Anyway, I'm not. Owen generally is the guy that blows smoke around here, so I'm not. I want to ask you. I could leave these guys out and take up your whole time.
Do it.
No,
Let's go.
I just wanted to know. They always talk about defensemen in their younger years. I want to go back to your younger years a little bit, right? So you played a couple hundred games, 250 some games with Florida. You had Kevin Dineen, you had Gallant, and you had the Boogeyman. And I'm just curious. In those developments for you, that's Bob Bugner, by the way, for the people that don't know. Was there one of those three coaches? And I know you had Gallant a little bit longer than the other two, but was there one of them that you look back and they had something that sticks out for you in your development?
Definitely. I think. I mean, I remember Gallant. Just I think he was a lot different. Honestly, for me, it was more Tom Rowe, which. Might not be the happiest name around Florida, but I think he kind of ruffled some feathers. But I think he kind of down in the minors, he definitely pushed me to my limits. I was the guy that I needed. I don't know. You could say I was just lazy, not lazy, but just I don't know, not healthy, not working the hardest that I could work, and. I think he was a huge part of just me kind of just getting to that next level. And then when I played for Gallant, it was it was nice. He hated doing video, and he just wanted us to go out and play and just use our instincts and play, kind of like how Gully is doing it here in Dallas and telling us how to play. But just letting us go play, and that was huge for me. I think just having that freedom a little bit and just using your instincts and letting it go. So that was huge. But Kevin Dineen, I only had for probably like 9 or 10 games, and then Bob Bugner, he was I mean, I didn't have the greatest start to his first year. We didn't have the best relationship, but when I look back, I don't blame him for doing what he did. I kind of deserved kind of everything I got, and just kind of had to look in the mirror and again had to find that next level again. So they all kind of helped me in my journey to get to where I am today.
It's paid off for you as well. As Leds was saying, we're a big believer of yours and loved the way you were just able to come up in the last two playoffs and be the type of player you were. And we all wondered all summer talking about whether you'd be a full-time player here. So for any of those who haven't heard you talk about it, can you take us back to when did you first learn that you were staying up here in Dallas? What were those conversations like? And then what was that like for you and your family to know that?
I was hearing rumblings just throughout the summer. There's just like little things, talking to people. I didn't hear much from management, which usually you don't on any team. It's just how it is. And, just little things like on Twitter, they were showing different guys each day, on different player profiles, and my name popped up. That was the first time it had popped up ever. So that was kind of a little bit of a clue, but, but I still had to push all summer, train hard, and come in and, definitely play well in camp. It wasn't just going to be given. So, but yeah, once camp went through, and then I just remember sitting on the bike. I was next to Oscar Beck, and Jim just walked by. He came out of the coach's office, and then, he turned around, came back, and just said, hey, Petro, congrats. Go find a house, and yeah, you earned every bit of it. So, I was just kind of like, it didn't really set in until, I don't know, after I got off the bike, honestly. But then I gave Backer a nudge, told him what Jimmy said, and we high-fived. it was a pretty it was crazy. It's just dream come true again. It's almost like I was never in the NHL before. Now it's kind of just that same feeling. So it was pretty exciting.
That what you just said and the smile on your face, it just tells you how important it is to hear those words, even when you're in your 30s. You know what I mean? The dream never dies, and that's the reason that you're at where you're at, is because you knew you had it in you, and you just needed someone to tell you that and give you that chance, and you're taking advantage of it. I want to follow up. You mentioned minors, and the first thing comes to mind for me is that, when you were down in Texas and going back and forth and things like that, and it's just my understanding, I'm not 100% sure, but you guys were playing maybe a different system in down there than it was here. And I want you to talk a little bit about how the difference is. It's a bit of a change, the system that they're playing, and then follow that up with the change in systems this year from Pete to Gully. For a defenseman, I've listen, you probably haven't heard it, but it's a pet peeve of mine, and I hate the other way, and I despise it, and I'm just going to give my reasons why. Is that there's too many times for me is you play a certain way, and where you're supposed to be playing as a defenseman, you're playing where the forwards are, and unfortunately, the bigger problem is when the forwards are playing where defensemen are, and they don't play that position from 3 years on up. So anyway, I just wanted to know the difference for you when you did go back and forth. And am I right that there was a different system down there than there was here?
When Pete first came in his first year, he kind of laid out the systems that we were doing up in Dallas, like in training camp. And then when we were down in Texas in Austin, trying to remember, it was more just the breakouts. So like team dumps it in, and we have to break out a certain way. Our rules were a little bit different. We had a little more freedom down in Cedar Park, versus Pete, where it was just one way. That's it. Like there were just set rules, and which honestly, the next year, I played that playoffs. And it's not hard to like change either. It's pretty simple to pick up. The D zone, everything, D zone coverage was the same. It was kind of like a semi like man on man versus swarm.
We can fast forward now. Now what you're doing now, how do you find the change for you guys as defensemen yourself personally under what Gully's got the team doing versus what would have gone on last year and the year before that?
I think it's great. I think it's kind of what we needed. It was more of like before, if we get locked onto a guy, it was like, okay, now we're locked onto him for the rest of the shift in the D zone, and like as a D man, it can feel a little chaotic, and then when you get the puck, you're kind of like, all right, what do I do with it? Where is everyone? Right. I think this year it's helped. We're just at the net, like we stay near the net, and then if the puck comes in our area, we got to try and close quickly. If it's in our quadrant, but if the guy carries it up high, then we just retreat back to our net, and our centerman takes over. So I love it. We used to play it in Providence when I was there. That's what Boston used to play, and I don't know. It just seems like it's a little less chaotic when you're in the D zone, especially when teams start, running around with the puck and moving it much. But a lot of the times you'll see the other team, they have four guys high. They may have one guy at the net and another guy in the corner. And it's like, all right, perfect. That's kind of what, it's kind of what we want, because then the goalie can see the puck. There's not as much chaos in front of the net. And then if they do send two guys at the net and kind of have that, then there's less net to shoot at too. So it's, I like it. I think it's a great system. And, it's kind of one that we had to deal with last year against the Oilers the last 2 years. Yep. And, we couldn't score. So it was, I think it's been good so far.
When you look at your season so far, obviously you snapped a pretty long NHL goal drought. That was fun. You've had some grade A looks that just haven't gone in. And then you watch your D partner do, kind of, I think Lian Bichsel struggled to start the year compared to last year. Maybe a little bit of that sophomore slump, whatever. But then he gets hurt. And you've been there. You've gone through this. I still think it's so incredibly cool to see you sort of have this revival of your NHL career in your 30s with your kids now being able to see it a little bit, which is probably even more special. But how empathetic are you to watching Bichsel go through the injury and his early stages of his career?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a bright future ahead of him. And I think, we both didn't really have the best start to this year, the first 5, 6 games, whatever it was, but we were in the D, felt like we were in the D zone a lot. So we got a lot of D zone practice, that's for sure. But I think, that injury sucks. It's, just a freak accident. You see him twist his leg there. It's unfortunate, but I think we got some of the best training staff in the league. I use Mike Donnie, I use his summer programs now the last 3 years, and I've never felt better. So I think you can use this time as as a way to evolve, get better, get stronger, not just bigger and stronger, but more powerful, more mobile, a little bit more pop, and that's all stuff that Donnie tries to work on us for. So I think I tell him every day, I'm like, once you get back, it's gonna be huge. Like, like this is your time. Like, let's get ready. Like let's work.
All
right, go.
I do want to ask you, Petro, though. Can you talk a little bit about the schedule and this season schedule and stuff like that? We bring it up a lot, and I know all teams are going through it, but just being able to play through all this.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, when I was in Cedar Park the last 4 years, we'd play 2 games, 4 days off, 5 days off, play on the weekends, do that for a while. Then if we go on the road, we play some weekday games and whatnot. So honestly, I kind of love it because we're playing every other day. But that's me personally. Honestly, that I love it. Guys like Miro and S, who are playing 25, 30 minutes a night. I don't know how they do it, to tell you the truth. I think those guys are specimens.
They go to Whole Foods to eat. They don't go to bars to eat like us.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
They're animals. It's crazy. I don't know what they're putting in their systems, but must be premium fuel. But yeah, it is a grind though. Like I definitely am noticing, like I am napping a lot more during the day. Before I wouldn't nap as much. Just feeling. I used to never sleep on the plane, like I couldn't, and I feel like every time I'm on the plane, I'm passed out or napping. So that's a little uncharacteristic. I think that just tells you there is definitely a lot of volume, a lot of games every other day, but yeah, I don't know. I think like I said, I don't mind it. I love playing the games. There's nothing better. But yeah, I think it's definitely taking a toll, maybe on a lot of guys. I'm sure it's taking a toll on the game as a whole. Like just seeing both teams, you're probably like some games the fans are probably like these guys, like some of the games look slow. Like everyone's just tired.
All right, last one for you, Alex. Thanks for staying, and thanks for staying a little longer. We appreciate it.
Especially on your day off.
Yes, you already had, as I mentioned, you had a lot of fans from what you did in the playoffs here. But then last year, you guys losing Game 5. You have the opportunity to go sit on a beach somewhere, go recover, do whatever you want to do, and you go down to Cedar Park to play with the Texas Stars in the Calder Cup playoffs. Earned a lot more fans on top of that. So can you take us through that decision and why that was important for you to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to drag Bish down with me, but no, he had to take care of his body. He had to get things sorted out there. So I don't blame him, but yeah, I mean, after the season, they asked me. They didn't really expect me to want to go down, but I wanted to. I was down there, the whole year basically, and just loved that group of guys. They're grinding against Abbotsford, and who had a very, a skilled veteran team, experienced team. So I thought, I hoped I could go down there and help them pull off that win. And then, we didn't at the end of the day, but I'm happy that I did go down and tried to win, bring home a Calder Cup down there for us, for them, and the fans. But yeah, it was unfortunate, but try not to dwell on it. And yeah, it was a special team. It was one of the best teams I've played for. So it was, I felt I had to go down and help them out.
But now you're back here after a big AHL time frame, and you're a dad. You've got a family. Do they know what dad does? Are they appreciative of it yet? Like, and what does that mean to you that they're starting to experience, not just, hear stories of you in your 20s, but to see you playing in the NHL right now?
I mean, they're young. My oldest is 5, almost 6. My second oldest, he's 4, almost 5, and then our little's only 2. So, I don't know if they appreciate it or anything, but it's kind of crazy. The other night, I woke up at like 6 a.m. Our oldest Luca, he was out on the couch. I opened the door and he's out on the couch watching the Florida highlights. First thing I see is me getting toe dragged in the slot there. It's let down. And I'm like, oh God. I closed the door. I went back to bed. But it's just funny that he got up, and that's what all he wants to do is just watch the highlights. He's always on Victory Plus watching, like a first period, second period, whatever. And then that's all they do is play mini sticks all day. Like this year, especially, like the last couple years, it was like, we just let them do what they want, whatever they're doing. But they, that's all they want to do is just play hockey. And, I think they're starting to get it a little more. They're playing hockey here in Dallas as well. They're on a team. So they're loving it. I'm not trying to push them or anything to be anything crazy. If they want to go that route, we'll give them all the tools. But yeah, it's pretty special. It's definitely a reason that I want to see us win a Stanley Cup and have them see it and enjoy it. And that's all they talk about is, oh, did you win? Did you, like, they always ask if we won that game, or they're right into it. So it's cool. It's amazing. And I definitely grateful every day for them.